then we continue the war for at least 2 years.
Ben, stay with us as we move on over to the United States for our next update. And a US immigration agent has shot dead a 37-year-old woman in the city of Minneapolis, sparking protests overnight. Federal officials said the woman, Renee Nicole Good, had tried to run over immigration agents with her car. However, denying the allegations, the city mayor said that instead, the agent who shot her had acted recklessly. Videos of the incident show ICE agents approaching a car which is in the middle of the street as it attempts to drive off. One of them points his gun at the driver, and at least 2 shots are heard. The FBI is now investigating the incident. This comes as hundreds of ICE agents have been deployed to Minneapolis in the state of Minnesota as part of the White House's crackdown on illegal immigration. Meanwhile, protests and marches are taking place in several parts of the city as some outraged Minneapolis residents condemned the shooting and are now calling for ICE to leave. Minneapolis public schools announced that classes were cancelled for the rest of the week due to safety concerns. Federal agents also reportedly made arrests outside a high school. Then, of course, this video of this shooting has been circulating the online sphere. Based on this video evidence available, does the use of force appear justified or excessive?
Well, if you ask me, it looks excessive. I mean, the ICE agents and the anti-immigration, she's sitting in a car and not threatening, and so they put out a gun and start shooting. But then in America, they famously have a problem where, shoot first, ask later. And you have horrific numbers of police killing civilians. The actual total number remains a state secret. There's no centralized number that they publish. And the crackdown on immigration has been hugely divisive. Again, it's part of Trump's xenophobic, policies, America first, but America first for white people. And the minorities have been budgeted, subjugated, ignored, not represented. And then people are taking things into their own hand. I mean, if you point a gun at someone, then you're in your car, you have no defense, then you use your car as a weapon. But then she's going to be condemned for doing that and prosecuted and almost certainly convicted. So the situation is not good. As I say, the very aggressive immigration policies that Trump's been pursuing are just feeding into the bad blood and the tensions, and will result in incidences like this.
And Ben, what was your analysis on President Donald Trump already commenting on the situation, along with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson? He's already proclaimed it as a self-defense act, even as an investigation hasn't concluded.
Well, Trump is mercurial, and he's very interested in his image, how he plays to his base. His political strength is that he doesn't follow rational policies. In fact, he does things that are completely insane and detrimental to the US and the US economy all the time. However, he has this extremely loyal base, and if there's criticism flying around, he always wants to act to counter that. So he has his finger in the wind, and it seems here that he feels that the popular reaction to this has been negative, and so he comes down on the side of the victim in this case, and makes a public statement to that effect.
And Ben, of course, Donald Trump did campaign on launching the largest immigration crackdown in US history. Looking at the broader terms of Donald Trump's first year in office and his broader immigration crackdown, do you think this is what Americans did vote for?
Well, his base did, and his base is significant. It was enough to actually give him a crushing victory, much better than he had in the first term. And immigration, it's classic popularism. The xenophobic immigration issues always play well to the vast majority of an electorate, and it's an easy win. I mean, you just have to say some tough things and say your job is being threatened by all of these migrants, all of these refugees, and I'm going to be tough and make America for Americans. It's all slightly inherently racist as well, but then that's also a feature of the right-wing conservative politics that dominate US at the moment. And Trump has played, I mean, he's a classic populist leader. He's not a statesman. He's careening around. He's doing massive damage to America's international reputation, but within America itself, he's also playing to his base and undermining the liberal, democratic values that the state is supposed to stand for.
Ben Aris, thank you very much for joining us. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much for taking the time. We now move on over